You're sitting in a quiet circle. The classroom lights feel a bit too bright. The tutor asks a question, the room falls silent, and suddenly your mind goes completely blank. Or maybe someone else speaks up and you actually have a strong counterargument, but you bite your tongue. You hold back because you aren't quite sure how to disagree without sounding aggressive or rude. That hesitation is a natural part of the learning process, but we can navigate it by building a customized seminar survival cheat sheet. Grab a piece of paper. We are going to map out the exact vocabulary you need to handle the 4 most critical moments of any academic discussion. By translating these abstract communication concepts into a physical desktop toolkit, you no longer have to guess how to phrase your thoughts. You shift from a reactive target into a proactive participant. Step 1. Draw a box in the top left corner of your paper, labeled Stance. Seminars are very different from lectures. They require you to move away from passive listening and step into collaborative speaking. Express your stance in an academic register using this table. It highlights phrases to state opinions and invite responses. Under Stance, write "From my point of view" to introduce ideas. Below that, write "What are your views on?" to pass the baton. Pairing your statement with an invitation guarantees the discussion stays a two-way street. It effectively prevents the conversation from stalling after you finish speaking. Step 2. Draw a second box and title it Clarifying Terms. It is incredibly common to sit in a seminar and simply nod along to academic jargon you don't actually understand. We are going to build a tool to fix that. Looking at this spoken definitions table, we see the exact phrasing you need to respectfully pause the conversation. Write down, "Can you explain what you mean by?" And when the tables are turned and someone asks you for clarity, look at this academic language box. Add these phrases to your list. Blank is defined as, and this means that. Notice how specific this is. It pinpoints exactly where you lost the thread, which is much more constructive than just stating that you're confused. Halting a discussion to clarify a term is a high-level academic skill. It ensures everyone works from the same definition, elevating the group's understanding. Moving on to Step 3. Create a third box called Referring to Sources. In an academic debate, an unsupported personal opinion carries very little weight. You need to anchor your thoughts to the text. This table outlines the framework to pivot attention away from personal feelings and back to the assigned reading. Add these anchor phrases, according to the text, and it says in the text that. Deploying these phrases acts as a shield. If someone disagrees, the debate shifts to the author's logic and evidence rather than your personal beliefs. Tutors actively listen for these anchor phrases. Using them provides clear evidence that you have completed and engaged with the assigned material. Finally, Step 4. Draw the last box and label it Challenging Respectfully. Disagreement is the lifeblood of a good seminar, but an aggressive delivery can shut down the learning process. Here is the academic language for checking your understanding before you disagree. Write down the phrase, "So what you're saying is..." Next, validate your peer's point. Add this to your sheet. "I understand what you're saying, but..." This shows you've listened before pivoting to your counterargument. The final step of the challenge is called hedging. This means using cautious language to soften the blow. In this table on expressing caution, write down the phrase, "It could be argued that." Compare the approaches. Left, a blunt, "You're wrong." Right, the 3-step progression. "So you're saying X. I understand, but it could be argued that Y." Using this validate and hedge progression prevents the other person from becoming defensive. It ensures the debate remains focused on the ideas rather than becoming personal. Take a look at your completed piece of paper. You now have 4 distinct boxes: Stance, Clarifying Terms, Referring to Sources, and Challenging Respectfully. You possess a physical guide capable of handling the most common pressure points of any seminar. Here is your assignment for your next class. Leave this sheet out on your desk, right next to your notes, and commit to using at least one phrase from every box before the hour is up. Having these structured phrases ready lowers the hurdle of finding the right words in the moment. It allows you to completely redirect all your mental energy toward the actual content of the academic discussion.